Welcome everybody to the Red G Fox channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we have one of my favorite episodes of season 4, probably the top 20. One of my favorite ones to watch, and that is There Will Be Some Changes Made. Let's check a clip real fast to refresh your memory. And what is this one? Because sometimes we don't remember all the titles.
I think we can start now, folks. It looks like we're all here.
Yeah, we might be all here, but she ain't all there.
This is a top one, 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb. Our channel, we're giving it 8 out of 10. Just in the fact that, like I said, you got a bunch of new characters that get introduced, even if it's just a one-time appearance. We get Aunt Esther. We get one of the most controversial scenes at the end of Sanford of this episode. And you get Lamont touching a Chinaman.
It's a nice group of people made up of blacks, whites, a Chinese.
You touched the Chinaman?
I never get tired of hearing that scene. That one's so funny. Another fun fact that we're going to get to, that we're going to actually find out why Leroy and Skillet are not in the show. Now, we don't know personally why. We've always heard rumors, but they might actually give us a little clue into why Leroy and Skillet are never seen again from season 4 on.
You argue with Skillet?
I don't.
You argue with Leroy?
I never argue with Leroy.
Since when?
Since he stopped speaking to me.
This is season 4, episode 5. Let's get to the summary. Lamont, has a whole bunch of group of friends that he meets with. This was something that was really big in that time. I don't know from personal experience. My mom has shared with me she actually went to a party like this, and it can get crazy. Comment below if you've been to anything like this or you remember this. But in here, you can do touching, feeling, cock-a-doodle-doo.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. I felt like saying it, so I said it.
Oh, cock-a-doodle-doo to you too.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. So we get that. But Lamont's like, he wants to have it at their house. And Fred's like, nah, you ain't doing it. What's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. Lamont says, I'm moving out and I ain't coming back till we can get everything 50-50. And then we get a great scene where Fred gets to meet all the people. We'll cover all that. But that is basically the summary. Let's get to the fun facts.
I didn't know that.
All right, first fun fact. Pat Morita, who plays the very popular and funny Achu, makes his debut in this episode. And it's funny, he just walks right in and fits right in. And we get some great, let's see a clip from him because I personally love him. We actually did a whole breakdown on Pat Morita and Achu. You can look at it. It'll be in the description. As well as one other thing. Do you ever see anything on here like the Fred, the Lamont, the different DVDs, the seasons of Sanford and Son, heck, even the Godzilla? We have all that now, including even my hat. Go to the the episode description, and you'll see everything where you can purchase these items and buy them. You know, it's a great opportunity. I'm glad YouTube did this to where, hey, if you go, hey, I really want that, where can I find that? It's right here on our channel now, and I'm trying to put on all our videos. But anyways, back to this. I'll also have listed Pat Morita, the whole video, basically all about him and how he got to show business and even got to be friends with Red Fox. That is in there. I made that about 6 months ago. But yeah, he's in this. He comes in for a total of 7 episodes. It's funny. He's actually in more episodes than Leroy and Skillet, if you combined him like that. So yeah, this is his debut. And as well as another fun fact, it is Fritzi Burr. She was actually married to one of the producers on the show. Maybe that's what helped her get involved. But she went on for 10 episodes, and she played great. The straight version against Red Fox, Fred Sanford's comedy. They were amazing together. This is her debut. First time we ever get to see her in this one, as she does cock-a-doodle-doo, as we saw earlier. But remember, a white... Fred sees that one time. He's a white Esther. Oh, Fritzi Burr was amazing. And we're going to have more on her in our familiar faces. One last thing. Fritzi Burr, about her, a fun fact. She is also one of the few actors who wasn't a main character, appeared in Sanford and Son, and actually got a side part. She appeared in Sanford Arms as well. Let's get to familiar faces.
Wait a minute. May I ask you a personal question? Who are you?
All right, familiar faces. Bear with me. We got a bunch, as we said. We got a full house of new characters, starting with Pat Morita, Achu, Gesundheit. That's a joke they always do, and I love that when Fred does it. We get it a lot in this one. He passed away in 2005 at the age of 73. He appeared in over 170 movies and shows, best known as Mr. Miyagi in the Karate Kid movies, and even did the cartoon series voices. A lot of times you'll get actors who are too big to go, I'm not going to do the cartoon series. Hey, money's money, and he did all 13 episodes of that, so that's cool. Hats off to him. One other cool fact about him, One thing that I've seen with my kids and grew up was Mulan, a Disney movie. He did the voice of the Emperor of China, even including, right, he just did it for the Karate Kid show, the video games, Kingdom Hearts, anytime he was involved in that. 26 episodes of Happy Days, that's what he might be best known for in his earlier work. 2 episodes of MASH. One of my favorites, Murder, She Wrote, and he made his TV debut on Gomer Pyle, USMC. In case you did not know, I did not know that until I did this for the research. Next up is Fritzi Burr. She plays Maureen. She passed away in 2003 at the age of 78. Not that far away, just a couple years before Pat Morita. Funny that they both debuted in the same episode and both passed away within a few years of each other. She did 62 movies and shows. We know she did a whole bunch of stuff as a side character. She did Pacific Blue in 1997. That was her last performance ever. She did 3 episodes of Friends, an episode of Seinfeld, Moonlighting, one of our most talked about shows, Rockford Files, 6 times. And my favorite that she ever did was the first thing I ever saw her in, and that was as Miss Collins. Actually, it should be Mrs. because she is married, but they always called her Miss Collins in What's Happening, Raj Rerun, and Dwayne's teacher. Next up is Sarah Frank Bonner. She is played Francine, Twiggy, as Fred calls her.
And I like you, Mr. Sanford.
And I like you too, Twiggy.
She's still with us today at 79 years old, and by the time she's not watching this, but by the time you might be seeing this video, it is her birthday on February 17th, where she'll be turning 80 years old. Now, she has a small career, only 20 movies and shows, with MASH 2 different times, Barnaby Jones 2 different times, and those were kind of her biggest roles out of all those. But what's funny is her last 2 roles were 22 years apart, right? We've seen other actors where they kind of disappear and then you don't ever hear from them again, or they might come back 10 years later. She did 22 years later, from 1977 or 79 to 1999, and her role in that was a voiceover in a video game. Next, we have Noel D'Souza. He played Salim. What part had... Let's look at Salim.
Nice place, Lamont.
Oh, it's nothing really.
But a lot of it.
I love when he says that. What part hasn't been touched? He's still with us now. Not yeah. All right, I love it. 99 years old. This December in 2025, if he can make it, let's hope he does, he will be 100 years old. It's funny when you see some of these characters in older shows and you go, oh man, he looks older there. You know, he ain't with us anymore, you know, because we see people pass away in their 50s, their 60s. You know, Red Fox passed away in his 60s. So to say, wow, that guy's still here, 99, all these years later, that's cool. He did 45 movies and shows. His last one in 2015, The Big Bang Theory, in that. He also appeared in one of my favorites, and I remember this episode, MacGyver, Mission Impossible 2 times, and Star Trek Voyager 1 time. And our final one we get to is Jane Kennedy. She played Brenda, yeah. She's 73 years old, still with us today, and she did over 30 movies and shows. She is the first black actress to ever be on the cover of Playboy magazine. No idea. That's cool. She also appeared in Wonder Woman, one of our favorites we talk about, Police Woman. So she likes to be in shows titled Woman, and Love Boat, a favorite of one of my kids and mine. What she also did in 1978, she did the NFL Today, and she's hosted a many talk shows and award shows. So her career is still span and still going. You can still see her. She's all over social media. So hats off to her.
Do it. A lot of people do that.
They do?
Sure.
And the chicks too?
Sometimes.
Maybe I'll just stick around as an observer.
All right. The thing I love most about this episode is the fact, like I mentioned earlier, we get a whole bunch of new characters. Characters that are funny, relatable, really good for the times. And what's best is Fred gets to play off all of them. We know at the beginning that as he's going through the episode, Lamont's not home, and he's upset. Why is Lamont not back? He knows, hey, he should be home, and he's got a father who's worried. Well, Lamont was out all night at this group, and that's where Fred finds out about it as they're having a nice conversation. But this is when Achu comes in, his introduction. Let's look some of that, because this and the whole group is probably 2 of my favorite scenes in the episode.
I can't. Choo-choo, I hate you. You said I can express my true feeling. That's my true feeling. No offense, Choo-choo.
I chew.
Gesundheit. People. I don't hate people. I don't get no rice on my clothes.
Pat Morita plays so well in this. What a great debut. And we've talked about, even Pat Morita has, I'm sure you've all seen it on YouTube already. We even cover it in the other video. But one of the times he made a joke about the Black Plague. Remember that one? And they told him, hey, don't use that. Producer or director said, don't use that. Red gets the jokes. And Red Fox was like, no, this guy's a comedian. He's got to say something. And he got to do it. So I love the fact that when he's like, when he talks to him, he's like doing the jokes where anything he says, Red comes back at him. They play so well off of each other. And you can see, right, the natural chemistry because they're friends in real life. But they have some great scenes right there. And it's a great introduction to where we know Achu is kind of a funny guy, kind of, hip like Lamont, takes off. Now, that's when they have the big fight. And basically Lamont's like, I'm out of here. I'm not going to stay here. He's gone. They can't get along. And I agree with Lamont on this. A lot of times I'm like leaning towards Fred. Maybe Lamont's got too big of an ego, right? Card Sharps. Or Card Sharks. No, it's Card Sharps. Card Sharks is the game show. I actually just saw that the other day. But yeah, Card Sharps. But in this one, I agree with Lamont. It is Fred's house. He built that empire, right, Fred?
Taxes on this place. I put insurance on this place. And if business keeps falling off like it is, I'm gonna burn this place.
He did build it, and it is his. But Lamont is now taking over, doing a lot of the heavy lifting, doing the work. And Fred does have to now compromise, say, you know what? It might be mine. I might have built it, but I can't maintain it without you. So he should have gone 50-50. Hey, at worst, 60-40. But he's saying no. So Lamont's out, and that's when Esther comes by. And it's so funny because when she starts saying, hey, she's telling him, you know what? Elizabeth's watching you from up above. How dare you kick your son out? How, this is your home. Flesh of thy flesh. And when she starts ripping into him, if you look, Fred's actually taking it. Unlike any other time. Any other time, Fred is ready to smack her right there or throw her out. But let's see how he takes it, because it is funny, and then he finally has enough of it. But she's like, that's not me saying it, that's Elizabeth. And I think he believes
That
it.
ain't me saying it, Fred, that's Elizabeth. She's saying, Fred, you ignorant old bum. How did you do this to our little Lamont? Come back in the house.
I love that. I love that she just tears into him, and he takes it. He finally has enough, and he does call him back in, and they do come to agreement, and that's when he says, all right, you can have the group here, but I ain't going to be here. I don't want to see Chinaman touching nobody. The stuff, these are the episodes where you go, it's comedy, right? If they say something about my nationality, my culture, whatever it is, always funny. It's always funny, never bugs me. And I love when they let it rip on all cultures. And that's what made Sanford and Son so great. And this episode really comes to it. Heck, he even goes after his culture when the guy's got the big fro.
I'm gonna let it all go.
Pardon me, pal. And please take your hat off in my house.
I never get tired of that. When he says that, the guy's like, it's got his big fro, and Fred mentions that. So it's like nothing was off the table. And that's what you really liked about Sanford and Son. And this episode, that's why, comment below if you agree. Is this one of your favorites, or is it just one of those where I go, hey, I really like it? I know it's one of the highest rated that we've come to up to this point, right? We've seen some 7.2s, a 7.4. I can't remember last week's, but to me, 8.0. It's 7.5, but 8.0 because of things like this. But he does let him go. He lets him show up, and then Fred's counting his silverware. He goes out there and gets part of the group, and that's when he's like, what does Fred tell Lamont about, hey, what if I want to do this? And Lamont's, what's his
I
response?
feel like taking all my clothes off.
Do it. A lot of people do that.
They do?
Sure.
And the chicks too?
Sometimes.
Maybe I'll just stick around as an observer.
Yeah. He goes out there. There's a lot of people. Maybe he'll just be an observer, right? He's just going to check it out. As they go through the group, you see some weird things. And if you lived that, I didn't. If you've lived that, comment below. What was it like? Share a story if you could. I absolutely love when you guys share stories about actual events related to this kind of show. But in this, my mom has shared a story where she went to a party once like that, and it got out of control because, just for her. She's like, her and her friend left, but there was all sorts of wild things. But, you got the noises, the back rubs, the all sorts of things, the lady eating fries, obviously a eating disorder. But as they get there and they start to talk about the group, we hear how, they're saying, look, don't base who you are off of the way you look, Francine. We like you the way you are. And that's when Fred shares his, and this is what's funny, you can even relate this to nowadays cultures where they say, hey, you got to be accepting of this. You got to be tolerant of this. And then the minute they're not accepting of what you might say, freedom speech, they attack you. And we see that it's still active here in the 70s. Let's look at it real quick.
I love you, mister.
Get back, fat stuff.
It's not something I would say, right? I don't believe anyone on our channel, our community would say that as well. But it's freedom. Fred saying, hey, get back, don't hug me. We already seen in the past, Fred, a lot of times, unless it's the 3 Degrees or Lena Horne giving him a kiss on the lips or the cheeks, he doesn't like a lot of, don't give me that. Even his own sister, when she hugged him and was supporting for letting him stay at the Sanford Arms, everybody's like, I don't want any of that. So he's not going to want a hug from a strange lady, especially when he's calling her fat stuff. So I get that. That's Fred's personality. And Lamont steps up, and when Lamont, he can't say anything, but Fred really, I still like the fact that Lamont is attempting, right? It's sometimes it's not what you say, it's the work towards it, and Lamont does a good job. Let's look at it.
Oh, he's well, see, my pops.
That's it, son. You tell him.
You see, he feels that he's.
That's it. You rolling now.
See, my pop has got.
Don't overdo it.
The way Fred's like, hey, hold back. You're doing too much. That's one of my favorite things is he's trying to say, and Fred's like, no, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. So they give him another chance. The group talks, and Lamont is right. Hey, the group is about freedom of speech, we're supposed to be able to say and do what we want. If you're offended by it, we're sorry, but he's got to have his rights. But Fred does realize, hey, you know what? Maybe I was a little harsh. You know what? I could be nice. She's willing to give me a hug, and you know what? It's nice. It's nice to see all cultures, all nationalities, all together, and just everybody getting along. And we see that right there. Let's look at it real quick.
And I like you, Mr. Sanford.
And I like you too, Twiggy.
Yeah, I love that. He's all, you too. I like you too, Twiggy. So it ends really well, and then they're all gone, right? And they're all bushed, and they're cleaning up. And Fred has his own. It's funny when my kids have watched this one, especially my middle son. He really crackles up at this part because he says that he agrees with it. When Fred does his little nursery rhyme, right? Sticks and stones may hurt my bones. And Lamont's like, hey, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. But what does Fred finish that nursery rhyme
Call
with?
me this and call me that. But I still say that broad was fat.
So, and you can't, at least Fred was nice. He was kind to her. Now, get to the part where I go, hey, what's his controversy? I've actually asked, we've done polls on our Facebook channel, on our YouTube channel. What the heck? Was this real? Now, my thoughts looking at this, and we get it as Esther's cleaning, and Lamont's like, hey, Pop, didn't you learn from the group? Say something kind to Aunt Esther. And she's like, watch it. Hold it. Wait up. She's stopping him because she knows he's going to say some kind of backhanded compliment or insult. And then he actually gives her a compliment. You're so generous, or how much you give, or whatever it is. And she's like, you give away your ignorance. But then let's look at the scene right here, and you comment below what your thoughts are, and I'm going to share my thoughts.
Wait a second. Wait a minute.
Lamont's reaction is what causes the controversy. And I wish I could talk to him just for a minute and say, hey, what did you think? You tell us. You were there. He could clear all this up. I've even got an email from somebody who knew him, and I've tried emailing him, and he never responds. He's like, who is this guy? Is it nobody? I'm not going to respond. But I just wish that was the one thing I could find out. But my thought is that, because Esther looks like she's getting kind of close, like she's waiting for it. And then Fred, or Red, however you want to call it, rips it kind of fast. They're so close. And he takes off. And her reaction is shock. But she acts so well. Is it shock? Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. Or is it just the acting? Because she does a really good job, LaWanda Page. So I can't tell. Lamont's reaction right here, as you see, laughing, is what leads me to believe they both, that's my theory, is that they both said, hey, we'll get together. We're supposed to fight. We'll end it. We're supposed to maybe do awards like fights, and Lamont's going to break us up. Why don't I grab your wig and take off, and you chase me? And I don't know. Maybe Damon Wilson just cracked up, and they couldn't get a take where he wasn't laughing, So, but it just feels so organic to me that it feels like they planned it. That LaWanda Page was part of it. Share your comments below if you think that was written in the script. Was it both of them, or did Red Fox just say screw it and take it off and ad lib right there? So thank you so much for watching. Power to the Foxes!
Power to the Foxes!
Yeah, thank you to our members. Jim Offit, Mike Lutton, and Tan D. You guys are spectacular. And our other members listed down here below. You know, if you ever want to be a member, join today, as cheap as 99 cents, and you can get other perks such as emojis, only Sanford and Son emojis for members. You get special badges next to your name, as well as early access to videos, including this one. And you also get members-only videos. I am getting a new one coming out this week before Monday. So if you want to see more stuff such as breakdowns about everything in here, where did I get it from, all sorts of stuff, and more personal stuff, as well as the show Sanford breakdowns, become a member today. But thank you to our members. Have a great week, guys. Be safe. And how about that Super Bowl, man? What a great game. If you were pulling for the Chiefs or you didn't care, it was an awful game. Awful game because it wasn't close. If you were a guy like me who said, hey, man, first of all, I'm a diehard Saquon Barkley fan, so I wanted him to win one. I'm so glad he got out of New York. No offense to Giants fans, but your team was garbage, and he was wasted. You know, he's like a precious jewel just sitting in a pile of mud. And I knew if he went to a good team that he could finally get the recognition players like Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry have, especially this last season for Henry. And they showed everybody. Broke the NFL record for most all-time rushing yards in a season, playoffs included. And he capped it off with a Super Bowl. I was so ecstatic and happy for that. So let me know. Comment below your thoughts on the Super Bowl as well. Like I said, if there's anything you see in here you want to buy, you can go check our item description, our video description, and find it in there. Have a great week. Be safe. And look for more stuff Sanford and Son. Peace.